G'day viewers. Look, one of the big topics of conversation this week is it okay to punch Nazis? I mentioned on the weekend that one Richard Spencer, one of the founders of the right-wing white supremacist neo-Nazi movement that thinks we should call them the alt-right, he got punched at the Trump inauguration. And people say, wow, is that okay? Is it okay to punch Nazis? Now, I thought the answer was self-evident, but a lot of decent people, they're having a pearl-clutching moment. They're going, whoa, surely people can have a different political opinion without violence being inflicted on them? See, here's the thing. Preaching genocide, that's not a political view. That's evil. Pure and simple. You can't tolerate that sort of shit for a second. Once someone gets to the stage where they can casually preach genocide of entire races, a punch in the face is way too good for them. And yet there's all these people agonizing over, well, isn't punching Nazis a bad thing? Point one, taking on fascists head on. It's not about changing their minds, it's about shutting them down. The concept that Hitler worshippers have the ear of the most powerful political office in the world, that's pure poison to humanity, and it's got to be excised before it can settle in and fester. Point two, the Nazis themselves don't see your insistence on civilized discourse over punching them in the face as something to be applauded and supported. They see that as weakness to be exploited. I can't believe I need to say this, but apparently I do. When people preach genocide as a core part of their ideology, they're not here to compromise, they're not here to build bridges, they're not here to foster civilized political discourse. They will settle for nothing less than the total subjugation or elimination of anyone that they consider to be lesser. You see, every time you say Nazis have a right to express their views, that's what you're trying to work with. Every time you say we should listen to them and reason with them, they're just working out ways to destroy everything that you care about. When you say mature adults don't use force just because of differing political views, all they're thinking is you're weak and it will be really easy to eliminate you. And maybe I need to make clear at this point, I'm not just talking about Trump supporters. The idea of just punching someone because they support Trump, that's stupid. I'm talking about the ones who self-identify as white supremacists, the one who throw Hitler salutes at their little shindigs, the ones who say, "Hail Trump, hail our victory," the ones who use anti-Semitic and Nazi symbolism to push their views. They're fucking scum and they can't be tolerated for a second. There's an actual quote from Hitler that people often use as their justification for just smashing Nazis. But the truth is that what people usually present is actually only part of the Hitler quote. It's where he does say the only way to have stopped the Nazis would have been to ruthlessly crush the nucleus of their movement. The full quote is actually in two parts. He actually says you would have had to either do absolutely nothing or crush them ruthlessly. The absolutely nothing bit, that's all tied into him worshipping Nietzsche and the quote about when a strong man is struck by a blow that doesn't kill him, it just makes him stronger. See, Hitler thought all the ineffectual bourgeois attacks on the Nazi party just made them stronger, because anyone who fell by the wayside, they were weak and deserve to be eliminated. So doing nothing at all, Hitler says, would have worked, or absolutely smashing them would have worked. Now, the idea that anyone would do nothing in the face of fascism is ridiculous. And plus, the neo-Nazis of the alt-right are already active. It's too late to ignore them. They're there. So, you know, their mentor himself, Hitler, says we have to smash them absolutely ruthlessly. Some people will be wondering, am I speaking in metaphor or do I mean it literally about punching Nazis? Because so look, just punching a Nazi, that's ineffective. And I agree, just punching a Nazi, That's not effective unless you know how to throw a punch properly. You got to get your weight behind it, like pivot and just really fucking slam into the motherfuckers. Make them feel it. And yes, look, I'm willing to accept that punching one Nazi won't change anything. We're going to have to punch all the Nazis, and more than once. Like when they realise sticking their ugly heads up and preaching their hate is going to be met with what they deserve, then just maybe they'll realise their free ride is over. In short, if you describe Nazis as just someone with a different political view, what you're doing is normalising genocide as an acceptable point of view. Oh, and if you want to say people sympathise with Nazis when you punch them, we have a word for those people. They're Nazi sympathisers. And the really terrible news for people upset by Nazis being punched, I've got to tell you, they're already in the halls of power. And it's going to take a lot more than punching them to get rid of them.